Hey, Coach, thanks for your question about false motions and just running different early actions to get into our man and offensive stuff. Just so you know, we run 95% just regular motion, where I'd say it's unscripted. The players are developing the play and they're reading and they're figuring out what to do, um, based on what the defense gives them. So I'm just going to give you a couple that we use primarily that move the defense. And for me, that's what the action is all about. It's moving the defense to allow us some room to create offense. So one of these actions, and probably one we use the most, we call X, and we'll just say exit. And when they exit, if we had say a 3 on this side and a 2 over here, all that means are they going to switch sides. And what that does is the player who is guarding 3 initially and the player who is guarding 2 initially now have to move. Even if they just move and they decide that they're going to switch men so they don't go all the way through, they come this far and they say, oh, we're just going to switch and I'm going to go back out with him. There's an adjustment that has to be made there. And that allows our wings to get open. Now, we will tell our bigs, if we have, let's say we're running any kind of high-low here, go ahead and screen when we call that out. Screen and then, post up or whatever, take a look at it. But we run exit a lot, especially against 2-3 zones. If they go underneath the zone, the defense loses them, and that allows us to get that action. Once we run that, we'll run what's called a flight. And this is just kind of an add-on to it. And this is more of a play here, but we've ran exit a couple times, so we'll call it exit flight. And we'll run these guys through like they're going to go all the way through. And the 5 is here, so he knows he's going to set a screen and we're going to come back out this way. So the 1 is playing it. This player comes in, same thing, comes out. But since there's no post player on that side, if the post was high, he would come out and occupy that defender. If the posts were both low, which we don't have a double low post, but if 2 players happen to be down there, they would know what was going on there. So that's one thing. And like I said, that's a little bit more of a play. So exit flight. The flight is just saying, I'm coming back out where I came from. So we use that one quite a bit. To get a dribble drive off of it, our 4 is often up top here. So our 3 and our 2 are on the side, and then our 5, depending who it is either away from the ball or on the ball side. Just kind of depends on the strength of the kid. But we'll run a through. A through sends this player all the way to the corner, and sometimes they go a little bit deeper and then they come out. But that's the through, and then we space up here so we get our spacing right. But this isn't a play. This is just let's see what's available. So what we've done is we've created a double gap right here. This player can then drive in there, can do a little read and react off this. If he can draw the defender in, we'll go ahead and kick it. If we draw off their 5 mans down here, if we can draw X5 over, we'll pass it. So there's lots of different actions that happen there. So it's reading what's available to us. So the through and the exit are 2 that we use an awful lot. The last one, and there's more than this, but I just want to give you a couple to kind of get you thinking about some things, is we will run what we call a switch. And a switch for us is, and again, I'm giving the 1 the ball every time, but the 4 could have the ball. Anybody could. And so if this is called, they would know what to do no matter who has the ball. A switch is where we're telling the 4 and the 3 that they're going to switch spots. So this usually is a down screen of some kind, but that allows the 3 to curl off of this if they want. Same thing here. These 2 players would switch. So we could down screen here, have him come out. So this action here and this here might get us a pass. If we had a 5 who could shoot the 3, that might get us a pass there. But we've also created a lot of space to drive in for a 1. So if you got a quick guard who can break their player down, that switch gets everybody moving. So when you start talking about false actions, they're not scripted, as in you always have to screen down on this play, or you always have to go up, or you always have to cut through. It's taking a look at, here's the action we're going to run. Decide what's available. Is there a drive available to you? Is there a shot available? Is there a pass available? But that initial action gets everybody moving. And then from that point on, now it's up to us to read things. Now, a particular read we work on an awful lot is a pin down screen. I mean, we do these against zones and a man, and they're not anything new, I know, but let's say the ball ends up being over here. So X3 gets in the help, X4 is here. And we see that, I mean, my players automatically, we don't call it automatically go and pin down. We'll come up, and then we might get a skip pass here. Or on this pass here, he'll go pin down on the pass, and then we'll get a skip to that side. And they instinctively do that because we look at it in film, we look at it in drills, I mean, just over and over again. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. I know there's lots of false motion when you run stuff like 1-4 high, or when you run any kind of set plays. You know, it's good to have that false action. But these are the actions we use. We create a lot of offense off of them, but you really got to trust your players. And let me give you one more, I guess, while I'm thinking about it. We will run a loop a lot as well. And this is one that I love to use, especially if you have a good guard here. We can loop anybody. So I'll draw it up 2 different ways here. So if the one has the ball and they want to loop, they just dribble towards the person they're going to loop, and that happens there. So they're just exchanging spots, but now the one can turn the corner. And again, we have the 3 here, so we can look at kicking it. We could loop it there, and that tells our 5, not the 4. Our 5, we're going to do a duck in. So on the loop, you duck in and you post up. So that'd be an option that we work on with them, just depending if we wanted to get that. We can also loop on the side here. So we dribble down. This guy's going to shallow cut. He's going to come up and it's going to replace. Now, these players certainly could move. You know, the 4 could slide into that spot and the 2 recognizes it and comes over here, or the 4 could come and down screen and let the 2 come up. But that's not a play that we run. We just teach them to read that stuff and to set it and to recognize how to get a teammate open and then what you do after that. So I hope that helps answer it. All of these that I just showed you, we use against man and zone. Doesn't matter what it is. They're all extremely effective for us. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything else in your question. We run these right away too. When we get down, I mean, your point guard could be running on the right side of the floor. And running on the right side of the floor here, coming down, and just yell loop. And that automatically tells 2, get out of there. I'm coming in this way, that way. Or sometimes we'll say push. A push sends a guy all the way through. So if we're dribbling towards them, we want to push them, we'll push them out. But those are all, you know, now we've covered the loop, the through, the push, the switch, the exit. So there's 5. There are 5 actions that every player in our program knows what they are when they're said. And it's not just the point guard who can do it. The 4-man could do it. The 3-man could do it. Whoever's got the ball, and when whoever has the ball has the say. Now, I might dictate some things from the sideline depending on who has the ball and what I like from them. But more than not, 90% of the time, the players are dictating it. So I hope that helps you out, get some creativity going. But that's really tough to scout. You can't just look at it and say we have to do this against this one player, because we're moving multiple pieces and we're picking where we want to try to attack it. If we don't like it, we bring it back out, or we call something different with a different player. So they don't know what's coming. They really got to be on their toes. So hopefully that helps you, Coach.